Yeah, we're live now.
Okay.
Yes.
Right. Okay then. Well, good afternoon and welcome to the Housing Property Regulatory Services meeting. We don't have any apologies from anywhere? No? Okay. Late items to be introduced by me. I don't have any. Declarations of interest? No. Minutes of the meeting held on the 15th August. I wasn't here myself. Councillor Schenker was substituting for me, and according to him, the minutes are correct as printed. We will now receive a report from Doug regarding trading standards enforcement policy. Doug, over to you.
Okay, thank you, Chair. Okay, this is Trading Standard Enforcement Penalty Policies Report, and this report seeks approval for two trading standards enforcement policies, which sets out the process for determining the amount of financial penalties imposed in relation to relevant letting agency legislation. The first policy relates to relevant letting agent legislation, which covers the following areas, and I'll just go through the headlines rather than all the detail of the legislation. So it covers prohibited payments, publication of fees, a redress scheme membership for letting agents, client money protection schemes, and estate agents redress schemes, energy performance of buildings, and energy efficiency in private rented property. And that one is just for non-domestic premises, so it's this business premises that Trading Standards deals with.
Okay.
Housing colleagues deal with domestic. And the second policy, Chair, relates to financial penalties again, and this is basically ending ground rent, which has always been an issue. It's been enforced historically. There's no legal definition of it, and they understand the legislation now has actually put a definition of what peppercorn rent is, and it is actually a peppercorn.
Right.
So, they're the policies. It's the reason behind that is that obviously enforcement authorities are given the powers through the legislation and can impose financial penalties, not exceeding that the amounts that are specified in each piece of legislation. Okay, and that's taking into account our existing enforcement policies. So a penalty imposed upon a letting agent, landlord or relevant person must be fair, proportionate, considered on a case-by-case basis, and must consider aggravating and mitigating factors and the overall fairness and proportionality of the penalty imposed. Okay, so the policies are Appendix 1 and 2. They're based on model documents developed by lead authorities for each area. The estate agencies is covered by Powles County Council, and the tenant fees is covered by Bristol City Council. So there, Chair, the recommendations are: 1, to approve the landlord's letting and estate agencies enforcement policy attached as Appendix 1. To approve the leasehold reform ground rent enforcement policy attached as Appendix 2. To authorise that each of the policies approved by virtue of recommendations 2.1 and 2.2 shall take effect within the Council's administrative effect from the 16th of February, and to delegate authority to the Director of Communities to exercise the sanctions or any of them as appropriate set out within both policies.
Thank you, Doug. Obviously, you and I have discussed this previously. As there are no one else in attendance and there are no questions, I'm quite happy to approve this. And thank you for your presentation. Thank you, Dominic.